Hello and welcome back to my weekly predictions. Let's see how this works. So Power Score is a metric I created to sort of measure the goodness and badness of a team, including offense and defensive scores and luck scores, which are a huge factor this week because it's only based on one game, so all of the offensive and defensive scores are going to be quite low and close to 0, which is average. And then the luck scores, though, are going to be all over the place, which dictate a lot of each team's power score. So last week I went 11-5 in my predictions, and Power Score beat me, going 12-4. So let's see if Power Score can continue to catch on to patterns before I do. So first up this week, on Thursday Night Football, we have the Washington Commanders taking on the Green Bay Packers. Both teams won last week, and Power Score actually gave the Packers a negative score, giving them a negative luck score. Washington also has a negative luck score, but their overall offense and defense makes up for it. So I am going to go with the Packers here. I simply think that they did better last week, and Power Score is going to take the Commanders. Honestly, I could see that happening, but I'm going to take the Packers in this one. Next, we have the Giants against the Cowboys. The Giants did not do super well, and the Cowboys did pretty well against the defending champs. They still lost, but Power Score is going to take the Giants in this one, and I'm taking the Cowboys. Next up, we have the Seahawks against the Steelers. Seahawks did not look great last week, and Power Score has recognized that, and they also gave them one of the worst luck scores in the league, which also makes sense with that last-second fumble. And the Steelers, they have a negative luck score somehow, but I guess it's mostly because they had so many points scored against them, but they also scored a lot of points. So I think that the Steelers did have an overall better week last week, and I think that they're going to continue doing well, especially against the Seahawks team that seems like they don't quite know what they're doing so far. But yeah, we're both taking the Steelers. I hate myself for saying that, but Steelers. Next we have the Rams against the Titans. The Rams looked pretty good last week, but they did rely on a little bit of luck to win there against the Texans. The Titans did not look very good at all last week. Their defense does have a positive power score, but their offense and their luck were down a bit. So this week, we're both taking the Rams. Next, we have the Bills against the Jets. The Bills look like the best team in the league right now, and they are taking on a Jets team coming off a loss, although they did look pretty good against the Steelers. I'm taking the Bills, and so is Power Score, but I would look out for this Jets team. Next, we have the Patriots against the Dolphins. The Patriots coming off a close loss, and the Dolphins seems like they just did not show up at all against the Colts. So we're both taking the Patriots. I feel sorry for this Dolphins team, but I don't think that they're going to do very well this year. Next, we have the Jaguars against the Bengals. The Jaguars looked pretty good. The Bengals did not look very good, but they still pulled out with a win. I am impressed with the Jaguars, not as impressed with the Bengals, although I am happy that they at least got a week 1 win. But we're both, no, Power Score is taking the Jaguars, and I'm taking the Bengals. I think that the Bengals are an overall better team, but the Jaguars I could see still winning just because it's early in the season. The Bengals don't do well early. But yeah, I'm taking Bengals. Power Score is picking the Jaguars. Next up, there is the 49ers taking on the Saints. The Saints didn't look completely incompetent last week, although that might have just mostly been because of a Cardinals collapse. The 49ers looked pretty good. They were slowed down offensively last week, but yeah, We're both going to take the 49ers in this one. I think that the Saints just aren't a very good team still, but yeah. Alright, now we have the Browns going against the Ravens, who lost in heartbreaking fashion last week. They're still probably one of the best teams in the league, in my opinion, so I'm going to take them. And Power Score is taking the Browns, who somehow end up with a positive power score against the Bengals in a loss. Now we have the Bears going against the Lions. The Bears end up with a positive power score after a loss against the Vikings. There's been a few of those this week. We'll see if power score sees something that we don't. And then there's the Lions, who also comes out with a positive power score and a loss, but with a slightly better one. They have a high luck score for some reason. I'm not sure what that's about, but yeah, we're both taking the Lions. I don't have a whole lot of faith in this Bears team, especially after last night. Just they did not clutch up, is what I would say. But the Lions, I think, will bounce back and win. Now we have two very curious teams: the Broncos taking on the Colts. The Colts look like the best team besides the Bills, in my opinion, in the league. Somehow they just are doing really well. At least they did well against the Dolphins. We'll see if they continue to be good, but the Broncos looked really good on defense, looked not so good on offense, but I am going to still take the Broncos. I trust them more than the Colts, and Power Score's taking the Colts. I don't blame them, but I do think that the Broncos are going to win. Now we have the Panthers against the Cardinals. Panthers did not look great against the Jaguars. The Cardinals looked really good for 3.5 quarters, and then they looked like they fell apart in all 3 stages against the Saints, but they still won. And they're ranked 6th in Power Score. I think that the Cardinals are going to win here, and Power Score agrees. Next, we have the Eagles against the Chiefs. Okay, now hear me out. I don't think that the Chiefs are going to lose 2 in a row. I think that the Chiefs are going to win. The Eagles did not look amazing against the Cowboys in the opener. That could just be because it is week 1, but I don't think that this Chiefs team is going to lose 2 in a row. I think that they're too good to do that, but Power Score is taking the Eagles here. I don't blame them. I hope I'm wrong about the Chiefs, but we'll see. Now, here we have the Falcons against the Vikings. The Falcons almost should have won that game against the Buccaneers, but they still lost. They still have a positive Power Score, though. And the Vikings can't come back to win it against the Bears last week. They still have a negative Power Score, but I'm going to take the Vikings here. I think that it's going to be very close. I don't know how good each of these teams are going to be this year, but Power Score is taking the Falcons, and honestly, I can see it. Now we have the Buccaneers taking on the Texans. The Texans didn't really live up to expectations, in my opinion, last week, but it's still early. They can still have a good season. It's just, I think that the Buccaneers looked better, and I'm going to take the Buccaneers, and Power Score's taking the Texans. So we'll see who's right. Lastly, we have the LA Chargers going against the Las Vegas Raiders in Monday Night Football. Let's see. So the Chargers looked really, really good against the Chiefs last week. I think that they are going to be one of the best teams, and the Raiders, although they pulled out a win against the Patriots, I don't think that they're going to be as good as the Chargers, and they're just going to be simply outplayed. And I'm going to take the Chargers and Power Scorers as well. Thank you so much for watching. Come back next week to see who gets these picks right. And leave in the comments any of your own predictions or suggestions. Alright, thank you.